15 famous musicians who died without a will. It's hard to believe that some of the world's most famous musicians died without a will. If you're like most people, you probably assume that famous musicians have their affairs in order. But the truth is, many of them don't. Here are 15 famous musicians who died without a will and why it's so important to have one. 1. Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix was one of the world's most famous musicians when he died in 1970. He didn't have a will, and as a result, his estate was in chaos. His family fought over his money and possessions for years. If Hendrix had a will, he could have avoided all that drama and made sure his loved ones were taken care of. 2. Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, died in August 2018 without a will. She was worth an estimated $80 million at the time of her death. Her 4 sons have been fighting over her estate ever since. 3. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye, the world-renowned R&B singer, died in 1984 at the age of 44. He was shot by his father during an argument and did not have a will at the time of his death. As a result, his estate was divided between his mother and father, with his siblings receiving nothing. 4. James Brown. James Brown, the godfather of soul, died in 2006 at the age of 73. He did have a will, but it was heavily contested by his family members. As a result, his estate was not distributed as he intended. 5. Bob Marley. Bob Marley, another musical legend, died of cancer in 1981 at the age of 36. Like Hendrix, he also died without a will, and his estate was divided between his wife and 11 children. 6. Salvatore Phillip Sonny Bono. Sonny Bono was an American singer, producer, and politician who died at the age of 62 in a skiing accident. Bono was married to Cher and had 2 children. He did not have a will and his estate was divided between his wife and children. 7. Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday died at the age of 44 from cirrhosis of the liver. She was an immensely popular jazz singer with a career that spanned over 2 decades. 8. John Denver. John Denver, the singer-songwriter, passed away in a plane crash in 1997 at the age of 53. His estate was valued at $60 million, and his family spent years fighting over his assets. 9. Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was one of the most successful and influential singers of the 20th century. He died at the age of 33 in 1964, without a will. As a result, his estate was embroiled in lawsuits for years. His wife and children received very little of his estimated $5 million fortune. 10. Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly was one of the most influential musicians of the 20th century. He died in a plane crash in 1959, at the age of 22. Because he died without a will, his estate was divided between his parents and widow. This created many problems, including financial problems for his widow. 11. Prince. Prince Rogers Nelson, better known as Prince, was a music icon who died in 2016 at the age of 57. His death came as a shock to the world and his family was left to deal with the aftermath. Prince did not have a will, which meant that his estate was divided up according to state laws. 12. Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain, the frontman of Nirvana, committed suicide in 1994 at the age of 27. He didn't have a will, and as a result, his estate was divided between his wife and daughter. 13. Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse, the Grammy-winning singer, died of accidental alcohol poisoning in 2011 at the age of 27. She didn't have a will, and as a result, her estate was divided between her parents and brother. 14. Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur was one of the most iconic rappers of all time. He was shot and killed in 1996, but his estate is still in dispute today because he died without a will. His mother, Afeni Shakur, has been fighting with his record label over Tupac's music rights and royalties. If Tupac had created a last will and testament, he could have prevented his loved ones from going through this legal battle. 15. Barry White. Barry White, the legendary soul singer, died in 2003 without a will. As a result, his estate was placed in probate and his children did not inherit anything. Start writing your will today. All these musicians all died intestate, meaning they died without a will. When a person dies without having created a last will and testament, their assets will be distributed according to state law, rather than according to their own wishes. A will allows you to decide how your assets will be divided among your loved ones and can help to avoid conflict among family members after your death. If you don't have a will, now is the time to make one. It's the best way to ensure that your wishes are carried out after you're gone. To learn more, visit digitalwealthmedia.com. Thanks for watching.